All right, let's dive into something that's totally changing how we build with AI. It's called LangChain. You can think of it as the key that's finally unlocking the real power of those super smart AI models we keep hearing about. Let's get right into it.
So you've probably had this happen, right? You have this amazing, deep conversation with a chatbot, and then you come back the next day and poof, it has absolutely no idea who you are. It's like talking to a genius with complete amnesia. So why is it that these incredibly smart AIs are also unbelievably forgetful?
Well, this really gets to the heart of it. A large language model, or LLM, knows a ton because it's been trained on a huge slice of the internet. But here's the catch. It's completely walled off from the stuff that would make it personally useful to you. It can't see your private files, it doesn't know what happened in the news 5 minutes ago, and, crucially, it can't remember the chat you just had.
So you can boil this whole dilemma down to 3 big problems. First, they're stateless, which is just a fancy way of saying they have 0 short-term memory of your conversation. Second, their knowledge is basically frozen in time. It has a cutoff date and doesn't update. And third, they're locked in a box with no way to access external tools, APIs, or any of your own data. Brilliant, yeah, but also totally isolated.
But this is where things get really exciting. What if we could break that brilliant brain out of its box? What if we could actually hand it a set of keys? Keys to unlock real-time information, its own memory, and the outside world. Well, that set of keys is LangChain. And it's important to know it's not another AI model. It's a framework, a toolkit. It's the set of pipes and connectors that lets a developer hook an LLM up to all kinds of external things. Think of it as the central nervous system for building AI applications that are actually aware of the world around them. And this quote right here, it points to the real magic. LangChain isn't just about grabbing a piece of data. It's about letting the AI itself make decisions, letting it choose the right tool for the job to solve complex problems. And it does this using something called an agent system, which we're going to get to in just a bit. So the workflow, when you see it laid out, is actually pretty straightforward, but it's incredibly powerful. You start with your stuff, your data, your tools. LangChain is the middleman, the orchestrator. It intelligently packages all that context, sends it to the LLM, and then helps shape a final response that is actually aware of the situation. It's the bridge from a generic AI to your AI. So how does this all work in practice? Let's open up the LangChain toolkit and look at the most fundamental piece inside, something called chains. What on earth is a chain? Honestly, it's as simple as it sounds. It's just a way to link a bunch of steps together in a sequence. So instead of just asking the AI one thing, you can create a whole workflow. You can have it go retrieve data, then format a special prompt, then call the LLM, and finally, clean up the output. It's like a mini assembly line for AI tasks. Let's make this real with a quick example. Say you want to build a little story generator. The user just gives a simple idea, like a dragon in space. The chain you build does all the heavy lifting. It takes that idea, puts it into a structured prompt for the AI, calls the LLM to get the story, and then uses a parser to make sure the final output is nice and clean. Simple, right? But it's all automated by that one chain. Okay, so that's great for a one-off task. But what if you're trying to build an actual chatbot? What if you want the AI to remember the name of that dragon we just created? Well, that leads us to the next critical piece of this puzzle, memory. And you can see here the difference is just night and day. On the left, without memory, the conversation is just broken. It's useless. But on the right, with memory, it remembers who Timmy is and asks a perfectly logical follow-up question. This is what turns a clunky tool into something that feels like a real conversational partner. And this ability has a name, conversational memory. LangChain gives you different kinds of memory modules that you can just plug right into your chains. This is the secret sauce for building applications that can actually follow a conversation and remember important details, just like a person would. Okay, so our AI has a workflow, and it has a memory. We're getting somewhere. But to make it truly powerful, we need to give it 2 more things: access to knowledge and the ability to act. And this is where we get into the really advanced stuff: RAG and agents. RAG.
It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it's a game changer. It directly solves that knowledge cutoff problem we talked about. It lets the AI retrieve information from your own private documents. Could be a PDF, your company's internal wiki, anything. And then it augments its answer with that specific information. It's exactly like giving the AI an open book test, where the book is your own up-to-date data. And this quote from AI expert Chip Huey's book just nails it. RAG is the #1 weapon against AI hallucinations. When the AI just confidently makes stuff up. By grounding the model in real external facts, RAG helps make sure the answers you get are accurate, relevant, and trustworthy. So we're almost there. Our AI can remember our chats, it can look up facts in our private documents. But what if the task is more complicated than just knowing something? What if the AI needs to actually do something, like search the web or run some code? And that brings us to the final and most powerful concept of all, the AI agent. Now, an agent is different. It doesn't just follow a pre-programmed chain. An agent can actually reason. You can give it a complex goal, a set of tools, like a search engine, a calculator, whatever, and it will figure out on its own, step by step, which tools it needs to use to get the job done. What makes an agent so incredible is that its components start to look a lot like human problem solving. It has tools it can use. It can make a plan for how to tackle a problem. It can even reflect on its own work to see if it's on the right track. And of course, it uses memory to keep track of what it's done. This is the closest thing we have to a truly autonomous AI assistant. So just think about that journey. We went from a forgetful, brilliant AI stuck in a box to a fully equipped agent that can reason, remember, access custom knowledge, and act on its own. Frameworks like LangChain are putting these incredible powers into everyone's hands, and the possibilities are just exploding. So the only real question left is the one you see right here. What problem will you solve first? Thanks for joining.